Yo, what's happening guys, King GBL here, and welcome back to some Go Battle League. Today I'm going to be showcasing a very interesting team sent into the channel by KitKat. Big thank you to KitKat for the battle submission. She's showcasing a very interesting team that she's been doing very well with in the Open Great League, and Jakubowicz actually hit Legend with this team quite recently. Today we're running with Skarmory in the lead. We're actually using a Shadow Skarmory. We're using Feraligatr with Hydro Cannon and Crunch. And to round out this team, we do have the ever-strong Lanturn in the back. The first thing I noticed here is the Feraligatrs on Crunch. I've been running a similar team yesterday. There's a top team on PvPoke which uses the double water backline, except it's got Ice Beam on the Gator, and instead of Shadow Skarmory, it's Shadow Gligar. I do think Ice Beam is quite interesting. I was a big fan of Crunch before, but having listened to actually Tomahawk UK stream, he was kind of breaking everything down. A super effective Crunch doesn't do that much more than a neutral Hydro Cannon, so Ice Beam could be very good for coverage for things like Guzzlord, things like Altaria, and as you can see, a double dragon team like this could be quite handy. We're coming back into Shadow Skarmory. We're going to go for a Sky Attack on the Dragonair. KitKat mentioned she liked the Shadow, just because it was doing a little bit more fast move pressure and was able to one-shot a few other things. So Shadow Skarmory looking quite interesting. You can see that these Steel Wings are actually ripping this thing to shreds. Unfortunately, the opponent does make the move on 1 HP. They go for a Body Slam for some reason, and we're going to look to be able to hopefully throw a Brave Bird into whatever comes back. Very nice patience there, not just throwing the move straight away. We shield up the move. We can go straight for the Brave Bird, which of course from this range will be... Oh, actually, they get us through the shield. That is so unlucky. That's so unlucky. Anyway guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. If you do enjoy today's video, please drop a like, subscribe, and if you have any gameplay that you want to showcase, feel free to check out the description down below. There's a Google form for sending in gameplay, or you can drop me a message in Discord if you wish. With all that being said, let's hop into the gameplay. We're seeing the Shadow Skarmory versus Dewgong. The opponent lets the move go. That does heavy damage. We come into the Feraligatr. Just before we hop into this match, I want to explain the thing about the shield last game. Whenever you shield a move, you still take 1 damage. I'm not sure if that's an intentional feature or not, or if it's like a programming issue where they can't program it to 0 damage. Whatever the case may be, if you have 1 HP, even if you have a charge move stored, if you have all our Pokemon in the back, you can never shield a move when you're at 1 HP, because you will get knocked out for the shield. Anyway guys, hopping back in here, we get off the Hydro Cannon here, taking out the low health Dewgong, and the opponent comes into the Flaming Crocodile of Death here. We come into the Lanturn, and we should be in a decent position here. We might need to call a move, or might need to go for a catch. We're making a call. The opponent goes straight for the Shadow Ball. Now, because the opponent's up a shield, and Skeletor is such a strong Pokemon, and they can basically go straight to Disarming Voice at this point, we might need to go for a catch. We do go for the catch, and we do make it to the move, which is very, very nice here. I think we definitely needed some help from Skarmory in this, because with Lanturn, we were just about going to get outpaced. The opponent's going to go for most likely Disarming Voice here. Do we still outpace to the move? Oh, unfortunately, it's another CMP tie. But do we live a Disarming Voice from here? Yes, we do. We live it on 1 HP and get off the surf. Good games well played. Very close game there. And KitKat actually done a good job swapping at the right time and not transferring Incinerate damage and being able to get off the move. In the next match, we have an Azu. Now, this is a matchup where I can imagine Shadow being a little bit better. The opponent goes straight for an Ice Beam. We don't have to shield this move. And we can look to do 4 or 7 in throw for good timing. We're going to go for 7 here just to absolutely maximize energy. We're going to bait here first. The great thing about Skarmory is it frightens shields a little bit more, but the opponent does not care, and we make a very nice catch on the Ice Beam. Now, typically with Azu lead, you'll see things like Altaria, Dragonite, okay? So some sort of a dragon in the back. Sometimes you see it with Sableye, sometimes you see it with Registeel. Usually Azu comes with these types of things, and we do see the Dragonite. This is a little bit tricky. I think we still have a move banked on the Skarmory. We're going to come into Lanturn here and just start sparking it. I wonder if the play here is to go for a 2-shield spark down. By the looks of things, we're going to let 1 move go. We're definitely getting a little bit low in HP, and you would sort of think that they have some sort of an answer to Lanturn in the back, so I sort of do understand not shielding here. The opponent does have a Reggie in the back, which is a pretty common pairing with Azu. Now that we're up a little bit of energy, we might be okay here. The opponent will struggle to lock on us down. We definitely need to get off a Thunderbolt here at least. We're trying to make sure we don't get caught on, of course. I think our win con here is that the opponent goes for an unnecessary catch. Maybe it's not unnecessary, but I think getting the extra energy could be very vital here. You're over farming. We go for the... Oh, okay. So this actually might work out quite nicely because we get rid of it here. And a Brave Bird from a Shadow Skarmory is not insignificant. The opponent still has to throw a move. Whenever you win CMP against Registeel, you're always safe to do another 5 fast moves. In this case, guys, we just go straight for the Thunderbolt. This should be just about enough to KO, and that's good games well played. Very nice there. That's the one tricky thing about Reggie. Whenever you're up against Pokemon with like a little bit of health, you still have to throw a move no matter what, which makes it super tricky. We go for a very nice catch on the Lanturn here. We do actually catch a Surf Bait, which is fantastic, and the opponent's going to build back up again. We're going to let the Shadow Ball go. Lanturn is pretty bulky, we can take this, and the opponent's bound to have some sort of an answer to Lanturn in the back. However, the opponent is staying in, which is a little bit weird, and they're of course going to shield up the Thunderbolt. I'm not sure what the opponent's trying to do here. One would think that they have maybe 2 hard answers to Skarmory in the back, or they're just trying to get rid of this Lanturn. It's kind of a sort of strange thing. I guess we're looking to go for alignment here, which I think at this point makes perfect sense. The opponent's kind of acting very weak to Lanturn, but then they come into a Gradient. A little bit unusual, not an answer for Lanturn necessarily, or Skarmory. Like this thing does fine into Lanturn. I don't think there was any need for them to stay in with the Jellicent. So definitely a little bit strange here. They're going to go for the Mudshot down, and I think we just come back into Skarmory. The opponent comes into Registeel, so they do have a hard answer to Skarmory. You're going to see here though that Shadow Skarmory with the boosted damage does a lot of damage with the Brave Bird. We go for the catch. Now did we catch the Focus Blast? Yes we did, that was an amazing catch right there. We're going to look to go for a Hydro Cannon here, which at this range we'll look to take out. And as you guys seen, the damage from Brave Bird, it goes absolutely crazy on Registeel. The opponent's forced to throw. Once again, I've been trying to use Registeel recently, and this is the bad thing about this Pokemon. You just cannot farm stuff down. We're going to go for a nice overfarm. The opponent is catching on Gradient, unfortunately. We're going to undercharge. Unfortunately, they were just a little bit too low. Can we get to the Sky Attack? Yes, we do. I believe on a CMP tie. Will the Sky Attack be enough? Just about enough, and good games well played. That was a pretty insane battle right there, good games. And hopping into the next one, we see the Lickitung. We're very happy to see this in the lead. Now in the zeros with normal Skarmory, I believe you have to go for 1 Brave Bird and 1 Sky Attack maybe. I think here you can probably just go straight Sky Attack, just because you're doing the extra fast move pressure. By the looks of things here, we're looking to just farm up as much as possible before throwing, which is the way to play Skarmory. We're going to threaten the Brave Bird. It looks like we're going to go for Brave Bird just because we farmed up so much, but the opponent lets it go. We're going to overfarm a little bit and come into Lanturn. Unfortunately, we weren't able to make the catch. The opponent will get off a Power Whip. I don't mind shielding or letting this go, to be honest, because you can see like it does 50% roughly. Either way you can let it go or you can shield it. They do come into Annihilate here, and at this point we've got pretty much 2 Surfs. Now at this point I would be anticipating something like Mantine in the back. Annihilate and Mantine is a pretty common pairing at the moment. The opponent does not want to go down both shields. We do successfully make a bait there, and if we come in with Skarmory in for immediately, we can basically force the final shield, or of course we can look to go for Shadow Claw down. The opponent may get to 2 moves here, but they YOLO the close combat, meaning that the Shadow Claw will KO, and the opponent actually has a Wiggly in the back. So I think what we're going to look to do here is get off 2 Hydro Cannons, look to get the shield off the opponent, and go straight for the big Brave Bird with Skarmory. This will absolutely rinse the Wigglytuff, taking it down to very low HP. Maybe we could have done a few extra Steel Wings first. Good games well played. The best body Wigglytuff is getting put in the bin, and we're going to hop into the next one. By the way guys, I've been thinking about this recently. It's kind of crazy how they're buffing the toxic Pokemon quite a lot in previous seasons. We had Triple Axle Gardevoir, we've had the Icy Wind Wigglytuff, we've had the new move on Victory Bell, and we've had a Shadow Bastiodon. I find it quite interesting that we're buffing these toxic Pokemon here. But anyway, hopping into the next battle, we're going to go for the big Brave Bird on the Dewgong, which as you've seen from last game, just rips it to shreds. We're going to let this move go. They probably do go for a debuff here. No, the opponent does go for Drill Run, doing about 50% health, and they come into a Tropius here. Once again, this is where having something like Ice Beam would be nice. I think just because we're shielding this move, the opponent will... Yeah, I love this play right here. Bait the Hydro Cannon and go for the potential Ice Beam afterwards, right? We're going to look to go for another Hydro Cannon. Again, you know, a resisted Hydro Cannon doesn't do that much less than a Crunch, but the opponent's just letting everything go. So I guess because we're only going to get to 1 more move, we probably could have just went for the move. I definitely get what KitKat was trying to do there, because the opponent might think we're baiting the Ice Beam, but by the looks of things, they were happy to let it go, but they come into Feraligatr, so we look to be in a great position here. The opponent goes straight for Hydro Cannon. As you can see, Hydro Cannons really add up in Lanturn, and like honestly, in like 2-to-1 shields, this gets kind of dicey. The sparks add up way too much though for the opponent's liking. We do go for a catch here, and we do actually make it to a move on the Skarmory. We should be in a pretty decent spot at this point. Sky Attack's going to come through, and we should be able to Steel Wing down, yeah. I'm not too sure what that catch was. I think the opponent must have thought we were on 2 moves, but good games there. Now, these battles are not in order, so like, I don't know if KitKat would have already Sky Attacked the Azu at this point, but I do want to see a Brave Bird go through. The opponent is over farming this time. She farms up to 10 for good timing here, and goes straight for the Brave Bird. The opponent shits their pants and puts up the shield. It's unfortunate sometimes whenever you go for the Brave Bird, they shield it. Whenever you don't go for it, they no shield it. It is what it is. Now, Feraligatr has a surprisingly decent matchup into Azu. As I mentioned a few times, Hydro Cannons are no joke, even resisted. We go straight for it. The opponent here will get to a play rough. We do live this move, and we are able to basically farm up a little bit of extra energy. We might even be able to farm it down. Unfortunately, the opponent just makes it at the last second here. Feraligatr shaking his head in disgust here, and we're going to look to farm it the whole way down. Now in comes Altaria. Will the opponent respect the Ice Beam? We're going to go straight for Crunch this time. The opponent does respect it. We get off second crunch. I think that might have been a debuff. It was a little bit quick there, but this will do a lot of damage to the Altaria. And the opponent comes in here to Stunfisk. Now, I think what we're probably going to try to do is come in Lanturn, of course, right? Go for a Surf. And I can smell it a mile away, KitKat. I know what you're up to. I know what you're up to. You're going to try and catch the Earthquake on Skarmory. Oh, trainer. Trainer. That is a resisted. Okay, well, that was the Rock Slide. That's unfortunate. The opponent gets off another Rock Slide. This is getting tricky, but the opponent's forced to expend a lot of energy. We do get to the Brave Bird. And as we've seen from the Registeel matchup, this absolutely fucks. And it absolutely fucks that thing too. So we're in a pretty okay position now. The opponent has to go for Moonblast. They're getting very close to Thunderbolt range. We're just seeing Shadow Skarmory just putting in that extra damage that you need. For all of you PV Poke Andys out there, Shadow Skarmory is ranked worse than regular. However, just in these certain cases, you're getting that extra damage, and it's a little bit scarier and a little bit more threatening. And if you look at it on the reverse side of things, if you are up against a Lanturn, I mean, they're going to spark you the whole way down no matter what. So you might as well be doing extra damage, and you might as well give them less farm. Once again, we're YOLOing the Brave Bird, but the opponent, once again, shielding their extremely bulky Pokemon in the lead for absolutely no reason. They bring in Lickitung, another extremely bulky Pokemon, and we're going to look to launch off Hydro Cannons. As you guys are seeing here, these Hydros are chunking, and the opponent doesn't even build up to the Power Whip, I believe, here, which just makes KitKat's life so much easier. We're going to build up to back-to-back Hydro Cannons. That might have been a CMP tie. If we could get both of these off, that'd be ideal. By the looks of things, that was not a CMP tie. We do threaten to take out the Lickitung, and the opponent most likely should come back in with Azu to go for Bubble Down. We've seen this a few times already. We're definitely going to get off another Hydro Cannon. We go for it straight away. This will chip it into Spark Down range, and the opponent here can probably just get an entire Bubble Down. Now, we do have a bunch of energy, and the opponent probably just blind through something like an Ice Beam or Hydro Pump. Ice Beam coming in, very resisted damage, and in comes a Clodsire. A very negative matchup for Lanturn. However, like 3 of these Surfs are going to do some damage. We will be threatening a shield probably with the second Surf. Here we go for another nasty catch. Did we catch the Earthquake this time? Yes, we did. It does quite a lot of damage to Skarmory, and unfortunately they do get the Mudshot down. This match will be getting fairly close, but we still have 2 shields. I'm expecting baits to start coming through here. The opponent to start going for Stone Edge. If they go for Stone Edge and land one, they don't even have to bait it. It will basically put us into Mudshot down range. They no shield that move. We go for the Spark Down. The opponent makes it on 1 HP. Clodsire, yet another bulky Pokemon on this team. We're using just 3 absolute tanks on this team, and we're going to Spark Down the Azu. We can live this player up pretty comfortably. 2 player offs from Azu are not quite enough to take out a Lanturn. So good games well played there. KitKat putting on a show for us here, trying to catch Earthquakes and stuff like that. And by the looks of things, we finished this set 4-1. So this team does seem to be working quite well. We get a fantastic lead in the next game with Gligar. The opponent comes into Lanturn. This is a little bit awkward actually. I've been using a similar team to this, and Lanturn against this particular team is very, very tricky. We do catch the Surf, which puts us at a pretty big advantage here. And we also get some Steel Wing damage in, which is not insignificant. It basically means we shield the Thunderbolt correctly as well. I think KitKat's playing this perfectly, because you just have to get rid of the Lanturn with your own Lanturn here. Even if you lose alignment, if you soft lose this matchup, that's perfectly fine. As long as you can get rid of this Lanturn, you're basically chilling. They go for another Thunderbolt. We will either get the opponent's final shield, or look to get it very low. The opponent realizes we're quite weak to this Pokemon, and they do shield it up. Now, we most likely come back in with Skarmory. A Brave Bird from this range will be very close to KOing. We go straight for it. That might have been a CMP tie, or they might have got denied. I'm not 100% sure. That actually takes them out from that range. Shadow Skarmory just putting in work. The opponent comes into Cresselia. We go for a CMP tie here, or what should have been a CMP tie. Whenever you throw a charge attack, you're supposed to get a 0-turn swap. We don't manage to get the CMP, but we actually are able to overfarm quite a lot here. We go for back-to-back Hydro Cannons. 1 crunch would not be sufficient to take out the Cresselia, so this actually works out a little bit better. The opponent comes back in with Gligar, and this should be absolute curtains. The opponent top left, and we abruptly hop into the next match here. We do have a Jellicent lead, quite an awkward one. We come into Feraligatr. The opponent does not stand to chip, but they stand to do a couple of hexes, which gives us a pretty decent energy lead. And I think even in even shields, this is quite a good matchup for Feraligatr. We're getting off our second Hydro Cannon before the opponent gets off their first Scald debuff or their first Mud Bomb, whatever the case may be. Love that no shield. We have to tank a move no matter what. The opponent goes for a Scald because there's absolutely no reason not to. I don't know about you guys, but I think the Great League is probably in the worst ever state that it's been ever since I started playing this game in terms of the meta. I think Skarmory, Whiscash, and Lanturn are the most boring RPS trio that we've ever seen. It used to be Noctowl, Medicham, Lanturn, Trevenant, Walrein, Medicham. I think those Pokemon were a lot more dynamic and a lot more interesting than the RPS Pokemon of Lanturn, Skarmory, and Whiscash, especially with buffed Scald, buffed Spark, and the opponent top left. We're hopping into the next one. KitKat's not messing around here. She's not showing us anything more than we need to see, and we're hopping into this one with Feraligatr. This is a tricky lead. The opponent plays to a CMP tie that they do win. Fantastic timing by the opponent. Hydro Cannon, that's a lot of damage, but we will basically threaten the one-shot here. And I think we're probably happy to let this... Oh, I guess we can come into our own Gator here, that makes sense. The opponent is ahead by 3 Shadow Claws, so we can't really overfarm too much here in this matchup. We do go for an extra one, and we'll basically see what the opponent wants to do here. Feraligatr, oh, they catch it on Lickitung. As we've seen from last match though, we can put in quite a lot of work here. The unfortunate thing is, if they go for body slams, they can basically go for double body slam here, which will be very awkward. We're making the call. The opponent goes for body slams, that's fantastic here. Had the opponent went for power whip, of course it would have taken us out, and we do get the CMP tie. Fantastic call by KitKat, knowing that, you know, that's basically the win con. They come back in for Alligator, they're not swapping straight back out again, and of course we have absolutely no reason to shield this crunch. I think it might be Gligar, oh, it's Cresselia once again, so we are starting to see quite a few Cresselias in the back. We CMP the Grass Knot. I think our back Pokemon are a little bit too low, we might have to shield this here. We're just about in Grass Knot range. The opponent gets to these moves in 6, 6, and then 5. I think we go for a Surf here to, yeah, just before they get to the move, just to give us a chance to go for a catch. I think we try to catch this in Skarmory. Unfortunately, the opponent throws their move immediately, not allowing us to go for a catch. And yeah, we don't really have a great option, because the opponent's Switch Clock is up, so they can come in with Feraligatr, start Shadow Clawing us down, and at this point, we're just super low. So I don't think we can win this one. Good games well played. And guys, hopping into the final battle here of the video, we have Skarmory versus Talonflame. Very negative lead, we have 2 great answers to it though. So we do 1 on swap here. The opponent comes into a Trevenant. This is definitely not an answer to Gator. We're going to go for this move straight away, which will look to do heavy damage. We threaten the crunch, the opponent shields it anyway. In this matchup here, we only ever need to go for Hydro Cannon, we don't have to go for the big move. And of course, because the opponent has a Talonflame in the lead, we're going to take switch advantage. It's also quite possible that the opponent has double grass. Talonflame lead with a Trevenant in the back. It could be like an ABB team, 2 answers to water in the back, with a fire in the front. The opponent goes for shield here, of course we're going to shield absolutely everything. The great thing about Feraligatr is, it's so glassy that it threatens absolutely anything. The opponent comes into a Bastiodon. This donkey dinosaur, this absolute donkey, is going to get absolutely rinsed by Hydro Cannons. We get off the second Hydro Cannon right here, and this is basically curtains for them. We can come into either Pokemon, we're going to come into Skarmory. I'm surprised she didn't go for the Brave Bird there. I thought that's what she was looking to do, but good games. Big shout out to KitKat, and thank you very much for the battle submission. I really appreciate it. I have not had a lot of my own gameplay to showcase. I do have 2 teams I want to showcase that I've been battling with, and I think I have 1 or 2 more battle submissions to go through. Apart from that, guys, if anybody else has any interesting battles they want to send in, feel free to do so in the description down below. Join our Discord in the description, fantastic community in there. If you want to learn more about the game, watch people live streaming their battles, and of course being able to ask questions while people are battling, feel free to join us, fantastic community. And last but not least, if you enjoyed today's video, subscribe and drop a like. Thank you very much everybody, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all tomorrow for a stream and a brand new video.